G'day, I'm Sherr with Denison Yachting, and I'm here today behind our Seattle office on Lake Union to take you on a walkthrough of the brand new Beneteau Swift Trawler 30. This boat we have in stock is special for a lot of reasons and may very well change your perception of the trawler experience. This Swift Trawler is everything you could hope for in a boat and then a little more. As the model implies, this boat at its very core is all about the cruising experience. She gives you a cruise speed of just under 17 knots, giving you around 220 nautical mile range. Bringing it down to trawler speeds, she gives you just under 1,000 nautical mile range. With a top speed of around 23 knots, this boat does a little bit of everything on the water. The first thing I personally love is how easy it is to board this boat. With this boarding door open, it leaves the deck flush with the dock. I've never seen a boat with a boarding door that's this easy to use. It's right next to the starboard entrance, which serves as a primary entrance onto the boat. Once you step on board and past the helm, you're next to the entrance to the owner's accommodation. An oversized split head and shower ensuite and a comfortable cabin in the bow are second to none on a 30-footer. Passing back through the Salon, we make our way to my personal favourite spot, her innovative stern. This area can be transformed entirely and with ease. Doing so gives you the perfect seat for taking in your surroundings with company. Running along the stern is the most unique feature of the Swift 30. As yacht manufacturers adjust to rapidly advancing innovation, Beneteau has added their voice to the forward-thinking conversation. As I've already touched on, this transom gate hinges at 3 points in order to transform this space. What this means is that when you want a swim platform, you have one. And when you want a large cockpit, you have one of those too. The entertaining aspect back here is expanded with even more space because with the transom door sprung open and the flybridge door pushed out of the way, every inch of space is usable. With seating built into the inside molds of the door, you have the ideal setup for cocktails at the waterline. These all-weather seats are a great place to dry off after you've finished swimming or rinsing down with the cockpit shower. You make your way onto the boat from the swim ladder on the port side and then use the freshwater shower on the starboard side. Another cool feature back here is a flush-mounted telescopic Besenzoni davit system. This allows you to hoist your tender in and out of the water when you're anchored and back from dinner on the mainland. Underfoot is a non-skid deck and a large lazarette storage locker offering you plenty of storage for lines and fenders. And then looking overhead, you see that there's a large molded hardtop covering the area. Something you may not have noticed is that the Swift 30 is asymmetrical. She has side decks on both sides of the Salon that can be accessed from the foredeck, but the starboard side is the one you'll be using most because it's the wider and deeper of the two and is on the helm side of the boat. Taking this forward brings us to the bow, simple and clean. The shape of the foredeck is nice for a few reasons. As you can see, it's on two levels, which means two things. The elevated portion centerline signals an effort to maximize headroom in the cabin below. Number two, by giving camber and elevating this portion of the deck, you give water a place to go and not pull up. Also, the flatness of the raised bow cap means you can set some chairs out here and change up the view every once in a while. A stainless grab rail wraps around each side of the bow and meets at the ground tackle. To either side of a Lumar windlass is storage and an anchor locker. Aesthetically speaking, there are few boats on the water, much less trawlers, that look as great as the Swift 30. Her hull is sleek and athletic to meet the demands of high speeds and better maneuverability. The Beneteau Swift series has blended these two things, form and function, together, and nothing illustrates this better than the Salon. In here, there is more glass than you might think possible, which is made feasible at least partly by her asymmetric exterior design. But the near 360-degree view is just the first of many features that separate the Swift 30's interior from many of her competitors. Just look at how large the window is on the starboard side. It makes up nearly the entire starboard side of the Salon. Also found on the starboard side is a long settee and dining table that sits just below the large window. Across from here to port are a few other great features. By the entrance you'll find the breakers and electrical panels for the boat. Just forward of here are appliances including a stainless steel sink in the same area as the oven, a pair of refrigerator freezers and a gas cooktop. Above the countertop is a large window, but what makes the port side window different is the fact that it can be slid open to let in the breeze. There's one more thing about the Salon I want to point out before we move on, and that's how easy it is to black out the Salon at night if you ever need to convert it into a sleeping accommodation. Underfoot here we have access to the engine space, which is where we find her Volvo D6 370 horsepower engine. Now let's take a look at the lower helm, one of two places you can run the boat from. On the console are all the controls you could ask for on a boat this capable. Going from top to bottom, we first see some analog gauges that read off fuel level, engine RPMs, and rudder angle indicator. Directly below these are an engine monitor, push button start-stop controls for the engines, and a centerline Raymarine hybrid touch multifunction display. To the left side is a switch panel that sits above an autopilot control. Finally, on the right side of the helm are the quick bow and stern thruster joysticks, Lenco trim tabs controls, and Volvo engine controls. Facing the helm is a bolstered bench seat for two, allowing you to comfortably stand or sit while running the boat. Now we're going to take a look at what makes the 30 the most comfortable trawler experience in this size range. Let's take a look at the split, separate head and shower rooms. On the starboard side is a large stall where you see a vanity with large storage and an electrical outlet in the immediate area. Also found in here is a Jabsco electric head. Outboard are two portholes that light up this stall and give great ventilation. Across from this is a large separate shower stall. This side of the boat also features a pair of portholes and a large teak bench seat. Moving on, we arrive in the owner's cabin. Open and refreshing, a semi-walk-around Marine Queen is found centerline with storage flanking both sides of the berth. On the port side is a long window just above the waterline, as well as a locker with shelves. And looking over to starboard, there's a hanging locker. Now let's jump back outside and take a look at the last stop on today's walkthrough, the flybridge. Aft, we see an open area for laying out a big beach towel in the sun, or for storing water toys. Next to this open space is a hatch that can be secured down to expand the flybridge footprint and close off the cockpit area. The forward half of the flybridge area is where you'll spend a lot of quality time. Catching up with friends as you wrap up a late afternoon cruise is just one way to experience these Seattle cruising grounds. Having a space like this where you can entertain 4 guests as you run the boat is another on the long list of things that separate the Swift 30 from the rest of the field. On behalf of the Denison Yachting Office in Seattle and myself, Ari Sherr, thank you for taking the time and joining me on today's walkthrough. If this boat is of interest to you and you'd like to know more, feel free to reach out anytime.